Hi, everyone. It's a wonderful day. I wanted to talk to you today. For those of you that don't know, my name is Colleen Tatum, and I'm speaking today specific to Canadian topics. Some of you might be joining me from other parts of the world, but this is specific to Canada, specific to what I've experienced or seen. And of course, with anything I do, take it with a grain of salt, check your own sources. But I wanted to share with you one of the reasons why prepaying your mortgage might be one of the worst things that you can do. So, by prepaying it, I mean, I was certainly one of these people. This is what I was doing, right? You can pick your mortgage payment sometimes, right? Like, oh, I'm just going to it sounds like a great idea. I'm just going to pull up my phone here so I can see who's joining us. But really, I was like, oh, it'd be great. I want to pay off my mortgage as soon as possible. Who doesn't want to do that? Everybody kind of, at least what I was taught from the things that I picked up as I was growing up is that we want to pay off our mortgage as soon as possible. And if there's anything left over, we save that in our RSP. I don't know if that's really working for people. If I look at the data, over 95% of Canadians are actually retiring broke. I definitely think there's more to life than growing up, paying bills, and dying. But why is it that that's what so many of us are ending up with? So I started learning some stuff for myself, and this is one thing that I definitely experienced. We try and put an extra little bit on our mortgage every week. Our family was putting an extra of $20 to $100 a week on our payment. Sounds great. Your mortgage is getting prepaid. You get to look at your mortgage statement and say, "Oh, I'm have this amount of years left to pay off my mortgage," and it feels awesome. But then what I found was that money is gone. You don't control it anymore. What if you need it back? What if an emergency happens and you need that $100 or that cumulative of $1,200 a month or a year that you're putting extra on your mortgage? Now add that up for 5 years, 10 years. What does that start to look like? That money isn't yours anymore. It's the bank's. And so we've given up control and ownership of that money. And you might be saying, Colleen, what does it matter? I'm good. I'm not in a lot of debt. We're trying to get out of debt quickly. But what happened to Fort McMurray, where I am, is the number of years ago, our town almost completely burnt down. We had to evacuate, and we could not return to our city for many months. What did that mean? Many of us couldn't work for many months. And that money that maybe we could have used in that emergency were now in the possession of the bank. So even though I had given them money early to pay my mortgage, now you have to be in a position of asking them for money. And how is the bank going to give us money? Well, they can loan it to us if you have good credit. But if you're locked out of your city and you can't work, who is going to give you a loan? And these are wild and crazy situations, but who the heck thought we were going to be in a pandemic? How many people are locked out of their work right now? How many people can't work if they wanted to? How many people can't work because they're not physically unable, or there isn't even an employer that wants to give them a job, but they cannot earn income right now? So who is going to give them a loan? And isn't it funny? In that case, you're asking the bank for your own money. You've prepaid your mortgage maybe by a year. And if you miss 3 payments, what happens? The bank wants to take your house. And when you go to catch up on it, they don't just want the minimum payment. They want the payment plus what you had said you were paying every week extra. Isn't that whack? Like, I chose to give you extra money, and now you are saying that I have to pay you all of that plus the money that I willingly gave you extra to try and help myself. But really, the bank always wins. These are crazy things that I've learned and I've seen in Fort Mac because our real estate market has crashed so much, and people are in crazy situations. So what's my alternative, Colleen? I want to get out of debt fast. I think it's a great thing to do. Obviously, I read a post today. Every dollar that you invest is a dollar for tomorrow, and every dollar that you're in debt is taking away from tomorrow, right? So it really is a thing. But what if instead you invested that money And instead of focusing on saving that little bit of interest that you're paying on your mortgage right now, which right now is not a lot if we really look at it, what if we made sure our credit card was paid off? What if we made sure our car was paid off? All those higher interest things. But what if we actually took that money and invested it in the market and in even a conservative investment where we're earning, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6%, maybe even more. But let's just be conservative. If we're earning 3 or 4% on that money, are we not beating the interest that we were paying on our mortgage? But better than that, we can actually have control of that money. So if you're investing it in your TFSA, it's growing tax sheltered. And if an emergency like a pandemic happens, you have control over that money. If in the end nothing ever happens, I really hope no one has an emergency, no one experiences a job loss, no one experiences an illness, no one experiences time where you need to take off time from work to be with a loved one. I hope no one that is watching experiences that. But if it does happen, wouldn't you feel better if you had the money in your TFSA or another investment to make sure that you had the choices of what happens in that time, rather than saying, gosh, jolly, I got my mortgage prepaid by 5 years. Well, as far as I know, you can't eat that. And you can't pay for your heating bill with that. So I think that if nothing happens in the end, go ahead, pay that mortgage off early. That's going to be awesome feeling. But in the meantime, I just want us to start thinking about, as we build and grow our wealth, how are we using that money? Is it to the best use of that money? And do we have control over that money? The key is control and choice, because when going gets tough, I want to make sure that I have the driver's seat, not the bank. So I hope this was helpful for you. Every Wednesday, I try and do a little wealth focus, and I missed it by a day. Stuff happens. Today's actually Thursday if you're watching live, but no one would know that if I didn't let you know. But you know what? It's important to be accountable. So Friday, I'm going to be back with Fan Friday, just kind of sharing a business that I think is great, or something that I've learned along the way that I think is worth looking at and I am a fan of. I hope this information was helpful. Maybe it kind of sparked a little thought in your head. Hey, I'm doing that. Maybe you want to look at what would that actually mean if something happened. Maybe you want to change it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're totally happy with what you did. But I hope that it helps someone. And you guys have a fabulous day.